You just want to open up your relationship. You didn't sign up to learn an entirely new language. Don't get overwhelmed just yet. While you might be hearing a lot of new terms you're not used to, you don't need a Duolingo or Rosetta Stone subscription to successfully explore consensual non-monogamy. You just need this video. Now hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you're the first to hear every time I release a new video about open relationship dynamics. Thanks for watching. I'm Iseman, a relationship coach and certified communication specialist with a focus on open relating. Whether you choose to open up your relationship to include other people, or you just want to open up more authentically to each other, I want you to open up without blowing up. This channel shares all the lessons that I've learned the hard way, so you don't have to. In today's video, I'm going to use the American alphabet to break down and simplify some of the most common terms that you'll hear in the world of ethical non-monogamy. Why? Because I'm a nerd and I love a system. So let's dive into the ABCs of ENM. A is for ambyamory and anchor partner. Ambyamory is a relationship orientation that describes people who are equally comfortable with and enthusiastic about being in both monogamous and polyamorous relationships. While ambiamorous folks generally have little to no preference between the two, making them highly adaptable to their partner's relationship style, simply switching styles doesn't make someone ambiamorous. An anchor partner is someone who serves as a central figure in your life, a stable rock or anchor that you lean on. This term is often used in non-hierarchical relationships to describe what might be called a primary partner in a hierarchical dynamic. A primary is a prioritized relationship or partner. Some people have multiple primary partners or leave the option for additional primary level relationships to exist, but many prefer only one primary. B is for boundaries. Boundaries are the personal rules that we set to protect ourselves and others. They are not imposed upon others, such as in controlling behaviors, but instead help define how we want to be treated and how we treat ourselves. Boundaries can be physical and or emotional. They can come up in many situations, such as relationships with metamors, agreements about time with partners, and safer sex practices. Boundaries aren't rigid walls. They're the flexible edges of our comfort zone, designed to be pushed consensually in a safe environment to promote personal growth. Prentice Hemphill said it best: boundaries are the distance at which I can love you and me simultaneously. C is for comet and cowboy or cowgirl. A comet is a long-distance partner that you see rarely, but when you do, the connection feels just as strong as ever. Generally, there is little to no contact between meetings, but they stay in your relational orbit, even if only periodically. A cowboy or cowgirl is someone who pretends to be polyamorous, but ultimately tries to rope their partner into a monogamous relationship. Some folks online use cowpoke as a gender-neutral term for this. D is for dyad and DADT. A dyad is a relationship involving exactly two people, whether in a monogamous relationship or a dynamic between two people in a polyamorous network. Simple, right? DADT, on the other hand, is a bit more complex. DADT stands for don't ask, don't tell. It's where partners agree not to share details about their other relationships with each other. This setup is often frowned upon in the polyamorous community because it can lead to a lack of communication and can be used to mask cheating and avoid dealing with unresolved jealousy and insecurity. E is for ERE and escalator. ERE, or established relationship energy, is the comfortable feeling of a long-term relationship, a sort of counterbalance to the excitement of NRE, or new relationship energy. It's the warmth of knowing your partner deeply and the security that comes with it. A less positively held term for this is ORE, or old relationship energy. The relationship escalator is a social norm that describes a series of steps that are expected to be followed in order for a relationship to be considered legitimate. The term was coined in 2012 by Amy Guerin, who ran a popular blog called Solo Poly. It's called an escalator because it's seen as a set of foregone conclusions, like a script that people are expected to follow, and once you're on, it's hard to find a way off. F is for friends with benefits and fluid bonding. FWB refers to a sexual relationship with someone who's an actual friend, someone with whom you share an emotional connection but no romantic attachment. I recently saw a meme calling for this to be changed to SWB, sex with benefits, to honor that the friendship is the benefit, which I think is real sweet. Fluid bonding, or going barrier-free, is when partners choose not to use barriers like condoms or dental dams during sex. It is almost exclusively used to indicate that condoms specifically are not used for vaginal or anal intercourse. This requires careful negotiation and trust within your relationship dynamics. G is for garden party polyamory, sometimes referred to as birthday party polyamory. This is where metamors may see each other periodically at larger social gatherings, but don't necessarily interact much outside of those events. It is the middle ground between kitchen table and parallel poly. H is for hierarchy and hinge partners. Hierarchical relational structures such as open relationships or swinging prioritize certain partnerships above others. A hinge partner is the person who connects two people in a polycule, acting as the pivot point in the relationship. Those two people are not connected to each other in any other way romantically or sexually. Their only connection is their shared or hinge partner. I stands for inclusive. Inclusive relationships are where all partners agree to include more lovers in their relationship, fostering a more expansive and accepting environment. Inclusive relationship dynamics are about expanding the social and academic conversation to include all relationship models. It does not exclude any relationship structure based on open or closed, monogamy versus non-monogamy, traditional over alternative, but instead makes room for all consensual relationship dynamics to be considered valid. J is for jealousy. Jealousy is when you're afraid someone else will take what you have, not to be confused with envy, which is when you want what someone else has. Jealousy is often considered a bad thing, something to be avoided or a sign of an unhealthy person or relationship, but it's a natural reaction that we can all experience and can actually be used as a powerful tool for personal growth. Understanding and managing jealousy is crucial in any relationship, especially in non-monogamous ones. On the other side of the spectrum is compersion, which is when you experience joy or pleasure from your partner experiencing joy or pleasure with someone else. It's often described as the opposite of jealousy and is something that can actually be strengthened with practice. K is for kitchen table polyamory, or KTP. KTP is a relationship style where all partners in metamors can comfortably sit around the kitchen table talking about anything and everything, sharing space, and often a deep bond. It's about integrating your relationships into a cohesive, supportive network instead of keeping them separated like in parallel polyamory. L is for limerence. Limerence is that obsessive, often anxious attraction you feel in the early stages of a new relationship. It's the butterflies, the excitement, but also sometimes the nerves and uncertainty. It's sometimes referred to as the anxious part of NRE. M is for metamor. A metamor is your partner's partner. It's derived from the Greek prefix meta, which means beyond, so it literally translates to beyond love. It is often abbreviated simply as meta. Building positive relationships with your metamors can be a key to a happy and healthy polyamorous network. N is for new relationship energy and nesting partner. NRE is the excitement and infatuation that comes with a new relationship. It's exhilarating, but it can also be overwhelming. It's similar to limerence, except that it occurs after a relationship has begun. If you're a Disney fan, then you might remember when Thumper told Bambi he was Twitter-pated over his new connection with Feline. That's NRE. A nesting partner is not necessarily a primary partner, nor does it infer a romantic or a sexual relationship. A nesting partner, simply put, is someone with whom you share a home, along with the related household decisions and responsibilities. I know what you're thinking. It differs from a roommate in that it's more integrated, with shared responsibilities and mutual influence in life decisions. By contrast, a satellite partner is someone with emotional and physical distance from the nest. O is for OPP and OSO. OPP, or one penis policy, is a rule where only one penis-having person is allowed in the relationship network, which can be controversial and is often considered transphobic. It's also sexist, as it belittles relationships between women, implying that they're safer since it's not real sex without a penis. Like, don't ask, don't tell. This is often used to avoid dealing with unresolved jealousy and insecurities. An OSO, or other significant other, is simply another significant partner outside of your primary relationship. P is for polyamory and polysaturation. Polyamory is a relationship structure that involves having multiple sexual and or romantic partners simultaneously, with the full knowledge and consent of everyone involved. Kitchen table, garden party, and parallel polyamory are some of the styles. In parallel polyamory, each individual relationship exists largely independently, and there may be low or no contact between metamors. Polysaturation is when you've reached your limit on the number of relationships you can maintain at a given time, and you're no longer looking for new connections. Q is for quad. A quad is a four-person relationship network where everyone is romantically interconnected. Yep, that's it. R is for relationship anarchy and orientation. Relationship anarchy, or RA, is a non-hierarchical relationship style that rejects labels, allowing each connection to develop freely and autonomously from the other. RA applies the rules of anarchy to relationships, giving equal value and significance to romantic, sexual, and platonic relationships, with none having priority over the other. Relationship orientation refers to your preferred style of romantic connections, whether that's monogamy, polyamory, or something else entirely. S is for solo poly, serial monogamy, and sex positive. Solo poly means being your own primary partner and focusing on your individual autonomy. You're building connections, but without the assumption of progressing up the relationship escalator. Serial monogamy is the practice of having one monogamous relationship after the other, which is really just successional non-monogamy. And being sex positive means embracing your and others' sexuality without shame or judgment, and celebrating it as mentally, emotionally, and physically healthy, whether you're vanilla, kinky, or otherwise. T is for throuple and telomere. A throuple is a three-person relationship where everyone is romantically involved, not to be confused with a couple dating a unicorn. A telomere is the partner of your metamor who is not your shared partner. U is for unicorns and unicorn hunters. Unicorn is a term most often used in swinger culture to describe an allegedly elusive and mythical creature, the single bisexual woman who prefers to have relationships with both members of a heterosexual couple. Next, we have unicorn hunters. These are couples, generally a man and a woman, actively seeking such a partner to add to their relationship. The term is often used negatively as these relationships are usually defined by the couples agreements and can sometimes exploit young bisexual women that are new to polyamory. V is for veto power. This is the ability to reject a metamor and have your partner stop dating them. It's often limited to the early stages of a new relationship, but can sometimes be an ongoing power to end someone else's relationship on a whim at any given time. While veto power can exist in any relationship style, it's more common in open relationships and hierarchical polyamory, and is generally considered unethical couple privilege. W is for relationship geometry. Stay with me, it was really hard to find a W. The W is used to describe a 5-person polyamorous relationship network. The shape represents the connections between the people involved. Who is connected directly to who, and who is connected only through a hinge, or not at all. There are also other geometric shapes like V, N, U, Z, and M, each symbolizing different relationship structures. X is for exclusivity. I know, it's a cheat, but we're getting into the awkward letters at the end here. Polyfidelity, sometimes shortened to polyfi, is when a group of people are emotionally and sexually exclusive with each other, rather than monogamy, which is when only 2 people are exclusive with each other. This is also sometimes called closed polyamory or polymonogamy. In these relationships, cheating is defined as any romantic or sexual involvement outside of the polycule. A polycule is a network of interconnected relationships. It's a mashup of poly and molecule because the structure of these relationships can resemble molecular diagrams. As polycules grow larger, the relationship geometry can get complicated, so the general term polycule is often used. Y stands for why not. See what I did there? Why not learn more about consensual non-monogamy? If you're curious about what else is possible in the world of relationship design, learning more about inclusive dynamics can only improve your current relationship. Whether you decide to open up your relationship to include other people, or you just want to open up more authentically to each other, there's value in educating yourself. And finally, Z is for zealophilia, which is sexual arousal from feelings of jealousy, either your own or your lover's. Yep, it's a real thing. Those are the ABCs of ENM. Heard any other relationship terms that you need help understanding? Or maybe you've got some non-monogamy nerd words that I didn't cover in this video. Either way, drop them in the comments below and I'll share the definition with you. Maybe I'll even include it in an upcoming video.